I'm Stan Lee. I've been writing stories for the young generation for the past 30 years. And in the course of that time, I think I've learned a lot.
I am Iron Man.
I am Groot!
I am Steve Rogers.
Are you Thor, the god of hammers?
Okay, look, the city's flying. We're fighting an army of robots, and I have a bow and arrow. None of this makes sense.
Welcome to the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy.
Doctor Strange.
Oh, you're using your made-up names. Then I am Spider-Man.
Welcome to the Postcast.
We are here, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for hanging with us, and I thank you for joining us on this brand new season. I am Gavin Basilar, an actor, writer, producer. To my left, we have...
I'm Jaime. I'm a editor and assistant editor. That's it.
Yeah, you are.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
And finally, we have...
And right across from me is...
Oh, I'm Jim Challis, and I'm an editor and filmmaker.
Sweet.
That's it.
All right, now that we got that out of the way, we are going to do a little bit of a Marvel-themed episode today because there's a lot of news in the world of Marvel. There's been a lot of new projects, a lot of new films.
Yeah.
Oscar-nominated and Oscar-winning films.
Yeah, and Oscar losing.
And Oscar losing. and
Logan.
And also,
that was last year, but still.
That was last year. But yeah, also Netflix losing because they
Yeah.
lost a bunch of their shows on the Marvel brand. But we're gonna cycle through all these topics for today, and I think we're gonna kick it off with the Oscar-winning Into the Spider-Verse.
Okay, let's do this one last time, yeah? For real this time. This is it. My name is Miles Morales. I was bitten by a radioactive spider, and for like 2 days, I've been the one and only Spider-Man.
Jamie? You saw the most recent.
Yeah.
So you're the last person to see it.
I saw it with Gavin.
Jamie and I saw it.
Yeah.
I know, but it was his first time like 3 months late.
Totally.
So.
Totally 3 months late. But I loved it. I think the thing that stood out to me the most wasn't the story. It was the animation.
Right.
Like, it kind of just... It's beautiful. It drew you in. I feel like it took forever to make that movie, and it took way too many people to make it.
It was like 4 years in development.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it shows. It's like it's really pretty. There's a lot of attention to detail. The colors are amazing. And the story on top of it all is incredible. So it's like this, it's like the perfect combination of things to make a movie like this. A movie like this shouldn't win an Oscar.
No.
I feel like
it shouldn't work, honestly.
It shouldn't work.
It shouldn't work either, yeah.
And it totally worked. And I remember seeing those posters, was it like 2 years ago or what? I feel like it's been forever.
They released that trailer a year out.
Yeah. And I remember
which
thinking...
was bold on Sony's part.
Yeah.
It was a good fucking trailer.
It was.
I remember thinking like, well, this is going to be fun.
Right.
You know, I didn't think it was going to be... I didn't think it was going to have such an impact that it had. And, you know, I'm happy that my friend Gavin here kind of dragged me by the ear to watch it.
Weekly.
He definitely did drag you.
Yeah.
He was trying for like a good 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You're like, oh yeah, let's go.
3 weeks. It was like 2 months.
It was definitely.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy you did, because it was fucking great. Like, I had a great time watching it.
Totally worth it. What about you, Jim?
Oh, actually, our friend Jamal dragged me to see it because I was planning on being really lazy about it. Yeah. So it was right after work, and he's like, "Oh, we gotta go see it." And I'm like, "Okay, yeah, I really want to see it, but
do you really?"
Yeah, I was like, but Saturday and like the Alamo, I'm gonna go there and be like drunk and lazy. And he's like, no, we're gonna go now.
That's why you go to the movies, to be drunk and lazy at the Alamo.
Yeah, I like feeling like I'm in my living room the entire time. I like feeling I never left.
By the way, I'm staging an intervention here. You need to stop sitting in the front row at the Alamo.
Dude, I love it.
You just stop doing that.
Is that something you do?
I do it every time.
There's so much space in there. It doesn't matter where you sit.
Jesus
You have
Christ.
all the legroom.
No.
Get it together, dude.
I disagree.
You don't need to be staring up at it.
That's not the point. The point is that I get to recline. And I get to recline and eat my popcorn or my tacos.
Yeah, but you get to do that in every row.
No, you don't.
Well, then that's the Alamo's fault.
Yeah. It's only the first row.
Oh,
so
that's bullshit.
It's lovely. Don't talk shit about the Alamo.
Look, no. Fuck that. Jamie and I had reclining seats.
Yeah, it was fucking magical.
No. Ours recline. And they're leather and they're beautiful.
I could have took a full nap.
Yeah.
Guys,
I didn't, because the movie was amazing.
This isn't a review of the Alamo.
I know
it's turning into a review of the Alamo.
Yeah. I love the Alamo hard.
No, the Alamo's great.
My favorite thing.
We love you. Please sponsor us.
Yeah, it's my favorite theater. It actually is. That and Nighthawk and Park Slope by us is really nice. So
there's another fucking theater that's kind of like the Alamo.
Nighthawk.
No. It's in the city, and
there's a couple in the city.
It's by like the South Street, like Seaport.
Oh yeah, that one, the IPX or something.
That's
like
what
that.
it is. Yeah. Which is also a really, really nice theater, and, it's got levels. As well.
It's amazing.
The bar is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, no one goes to it.
No,
that's what's crazy about it.
It's still new though.
Is that what it is?
It's brand new.
I think it's only like been there for like a year.
Yeah.
So give it time.
Yeah. You know what? We should totally do an episode where we review movie theaters in New York.
Oh my god, it's amazing! It's a great idea.
Like now that we're talking about
shit, that's a perfect episode.
We have opinions.
All right, that's coming soon.
We have thoughts.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry.
Welcome to season 2.
Not to get derailed here, Jim. Sorry. What did you think of the movie?
No, I thought it was really beautiful. It was weird because I did get bored in the middle. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
There was a point in the middle where I'm like, and it wasn't. I guess bored is wrong. It's not bored. I was exhausted by the middle of it. It's like because the visuals are really beautiful.
Yeah, dude.
Also very intense.
Dude, right off the top.
It's very overwhelming.
Yeah.
Right off the top, it's very intense.
Yeah. Like right from the get.
It's a complete acid trip.
Yeah. But I thought it was beautiful. That was amazing. Like I said, I did get like a little tired halfway through the movie. I'm like, I felt like my old man syndrome kicked in.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I felt the same thing in Speed Racer. You know.
Oh my god,
so
that movie
or Scott Pilgrim. It's just a visual.
Maybe it's not like old man syndrome. Maybe it's more like
I think it's sensory overload.
Yeah. I think it's also editor syndrome because it's like I'm sitting at work for 10 hours a day doing the thing, and then I go to see a movie, and it's like,
you're exhausted.
Whoa, like this is great, but it's like, oh my god,
it's a lot to take in.
But that's on me. That's not in the movie. No, that was beautiful. That was great. I loved seeing. I'm gonna go here. I love seeing a Hispanic character.
Yeah.
On screen, like a Hispanic hero. I'm like, that's fucking amazing.
To nitpick on that though, he's from the Bronx. He's not from Brooklyn.
No, he's from Brooklyn. He's always from Brooklyn.
No, he's from the Bronx.
I think he's from the Bronx.
He was originally from the Bronx.
Oh, did he always go to school in Brooklyn? Was that the whole thing?
That might have been it.
I think that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
But they painted out.
We could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
But
who the fuck knows?
Who knows? But either way, I dug it. I was like, this is great.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Especially the part where, like the scene where he's like, I don't mean to jump right into the whole thing, but the scene where he's like going.
Spoilers.
Yeah, but the movie's it's on fucking Blu right now.
It doesn't matter.
You're right. The scene where he's actually walking through and saying hi to everybody, and then he breaks into Spanish.
Yeah.
Like as a person who doesn't speak Spanish, sorry guys. But I am Hispanic. It was really interesting to see. It's great. It was fun. Yeah. It was like nice to see that because I had friends and people did that, and it was like
totally
really cool,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
So I thoroughly enjoyed it. It felt really real.
Yeah,
it
did
nice
absolutely
in that weird way. But it was great.
He's a fucking city kid.
Yeah, that's what it was,
and that's really what it was. Like that.
You know. Sorry.
No, go for it.
Like that was the biggest takeaway for me. Now that we're all saying it out loud, is that I remember thinking about that movie. I didn't really have planned to think about this movie on the way into this podcast, but like that was the closest, like that was the best description of New York, like New York,
right,
that I've seen in a long time.
Totally,
for a movie, and it came from a fucking Spider-Man animation.
Absolutely,
so it's.
Dude, and it's little shit like when his father's like driving him to school and he's talking about the new coffee shop that just opened up.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
just little things like that.
Little things like that.
Yeah, right.
That is straight up like metropolitan type conversations.
Oh,
there's fireworks happening.
More fireworks.
Yep.
Season 2.
Season 2, everyone.
Season 2, baby. We still didn't take care of it.
All those people are super happy that we're back.
Yep.
So what do you think?
My thoughts.
The fireworks are
I'm gonna hold for fireworks. Thoughts about the movie. I don't want to delve too far into this because I tend to ramble, especially when it comes to Spider-Man because he's my all-time favorite comic book hero. But I think the general population, A, is a little superhero fatigued, and B, Spider-Man fatigued because there have been now 5, 6 Spider-Man movies.
3, 4, 5, 6
since 2000.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
9.
6.
Really?
7.
If you count,
7.
if you include Civil War and you include
I'm not counting those. I'm counting individual Spider-Man movies.
Oh, okay. Then,
yeah,
okay.
so it's it's the 3 Raimi ones, the 2 Mark Webb ones,
right?
Yeah.
The Homecoming,
So
and now Spider-Verse.
So 7.
Right. 7.
So I think generally everyone has been a little just Spider-Man'd out, but this movie also couldn't exist and do so well had it not been for all of those movies either. Because
It's true.
There's definitely a lot of Sam Raimi influence with one of the Spider-Man characters.
Yes, there is. But also, I think it's just the fact that it's just like we've seen the Uncle Ben dying. Great power comes with great responsibility. We've seen all that, so this was a nice fresh take on it.
Yeah,
where everyone was just pleasantly surprised that it wasn't once again Peter Parker. It wasn't again about his dying uncle, and it just. And also the fact that there's like 5 characters.
5 Spiders.
There's 5 spider characters in this movie that, and again, this movie wouldn't have worked had it been done like, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Yeah, like after Spider-Man 2.
Honestly, even 5 years ago, it would not have worked. Yeah.
Yeah, so the production for this movie took about 4 years. I watched interviews with some of the cast that were telling stories about how they were constantly in that 4-year span, how they would get randomly asked to come in to do more voiceover work,
right?
Because it was just constantly being made. I
have to say that I'm really happy that my dude from New Girl,
Jake Johnson.
Yeah, I'm fucking really happy that he played Spider-Man.
Dude, yeah.
Because I love that dude, and yeah, he's so happy. He's so great.
You know what though? I'm not gonna lie. I also want to see the Chris Pine Spider-Man. Like, I want to see that movie.
Yeah, he was great.
He was the ideal, perfect Spider-Man. Like, it was such a cool thing to see. Where it's just like, oh my god, how does he fucking do that?
You talking about Ben Reilly?
Oh yes.
Oh,
Jamie and I talked about this.
Wait, what? Peter B. Parker?
Yeah. No. Fucking no. Chris Pine Spider-Man. Because he was fucking blonde.
Oh, you're right. Holy shit, I didn't catch that.
Ben Reilly.
Peter B. Parker, which is Jake Johnson. I'm thoroughly convinced.
You just blew my mind, dude.
Yeah,
Holy
dude.
shit.
It's another universe.
It's another universe.
Wow.
So he could potentially be Ben Reilly.
That's my other thing that I really love about this movie. There's so many like different storylines and ideas and so much legacy, I guess.
Yeah. It's a good word
it's
for
like
it.
woven into this fucking movie that like there's so many little things that like if you're like a huge Spider-Man fan or depending on what level of I guess fan
man.
I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
There's just a little something for everyone in it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I'm fully convinced that Peter B. Parker came out of the Sam Raimi universe.
Oh, you think that's Sam Raimi?
Like, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is. And also,
that's Toby.
Because I pay attention to these little details. They kept doing that same shot every time. He was just like, "All right, folks, let's do this one last time. My name is Peter Parker." Yada yada, so forth.
Yeah.
Anytime they would show the world that they were in, so for like Chris Pine Spider-Man, Ben Reilly, and they had a Coca-Cola ad.
Yeah.
Except it was like Coca Soda, but it was clearly the Coca-Cola logo.
Right.
When they go to Peter B. Parker, it is straight up Coca-Cola. So that means he is from our universe.
Yeah.
And that was another thing that kind of did it for me. I was just like, that's gotta be him. That's gotta be Toby.
Couldn't they make it the 616 though?
I mean, I guess, but I don't think I don't know if they put Tobey Maguire Spider-Man into another universe.
It did.
Did they?
It did, yeah.
I know the MCU stuff is.
Oh, but that's 6100 or something
right.
like that. Yeah.
Wait,
So I just for listeners who may not be familiar with this, 616 is the primary comic book universe.
Right. There's a multiverse.
Yeah.
So they're all numbered.
They're all numbered. So the main Marvel continuity is 616. The movie continuity, the MCU is 61,000.
Yeah, it's like it's some really ridiculously high number.
Yeah.
I guess to just make sure it
and
doesn't
then
get
the
anyone
ultimate.
confused.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, go.
No, the ultimate is what?
Dude,
613, 615?
Fuck if I know.
Something like that.
Something like that.
I forget what it is.
If we had done more research, we might have known that.
Yeah.
We don't need to do research. We have it in our heads.
It's true.
For this one, at least.
Mostly.
Yeah.
But sorry. Just to get clear on this, Jamie had mentioned that there's just a lot of things in that movie that worked so well, and I personally, I think almost everything worked. The animation style, the soundtrack, the score, the story. I mean, I felt like this movie shouldn't have worked. Like, it's an impossible feat that they pulled off with this movie, and it absolutely deserved the Oscar, in my opinion.
Yeah. Once I watched it.
Yeah,
I immediately felt like this is it. There's no other way. Whatever Pixar came out with,
right? Yeah, there was
Incredibles 2.
Yeah,
which was fine.
Which is no.
It's good.
Hold on a second.
It's good.
Incredibles 2 is really good.
It is really good.
It's very, very good.
I'm gonna say that
Spider-Verse is better.
There's a lot of subversive stuff going on also in Incredibles 2, which also makes it that much more interesting. But yeah, no, Incredibles 2 is good.
I have to say that Incredibles 2 fell into the episodic format that Marvel's created.
Yeah, totally.
It really didn't feel like a singular film. It felt like, all right, here's episode 2 10 years later.
I wholeheartedly agree.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. But
that's kind of why it kind of fell for me.
But it doesn't negate the fact that it's still a good film.
Oh, it's a great film.
Right.
It's great. But it unlike the Marvel movies where you kind of live in this world where it's a $500 million episode every 6 months.
Yeah.
Right.
Incredibles 2, it took 10 years. So I'd rather
it took more than that. It took like
Really?
14.
Yeah.
Right. So I would have
so nuts.
I would have rather it been more of a singular kind of film rather than it just being a direct kind of like sequel. Because if you even look at the arc of that movie, it's like it's very much episodic, and like you need Incredibles 3 for it to even be complete, yeah, and viewable.
That's the other thing I was going to say. You're right that it feels episodic, and like watching that movie, I went out of it thinking like it's not going to have a trilogy, and if they do make a third one, I could feel like they could make a fourth one. They could have a season out of it, so to speak. Like I never thought they could close this chapter.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about Incredibles in another episode. Because I think that movie was incredibly smart. In a world where we're just flush with nothing but comic book movies. Into the Spider-Verse got to stand out on its own.
Yeah.
Which was just again, it was an impossible feat.
I also think that The Incredibles should have dropped later. I don't think now was the time for it.
No.
I think it's just too much superhero stuff.
Yeah.
I think the reason why the original worked was because there was a beginning trend of it.
Mm-hmm.
And people weren't tired of it. And if part 2 came out using the themes that they were using in that movie, it probably would have been more effective.
Totally.
Just to bring it back to Spider-Verse.
Yeah, go for it.
There's one moment that I found it on YouTube, actually, and they pointed it out, so I don't want to sound like I'm smart, because I'm not. They mentioned it was this really wonderful moment of like filmmaking in it, where the first time Miles ends up in the spider cave, he walks up to a Spider-Man suit, and sorry, that's my phone. Sorry, guys. Nope, it's just my watch. Sorry, guys.
This is all great.
Yeah.
It's staying in.
But there's a moment where he walks up to to one of the suits, and his face is below the eye level of the suit. And then later on, when he kind of comes to fruition, it's eye line.
200 miles per hour with a blindfold on. Mama always asking, where did I go wrong?
Took you long enough.
What's up, danger? What's up, danger?
I see this spark in you. It's amazing. Whatever you choose to do with it, you'll be great.
Our family doesn't run from things.
You're the best of all of us, Mom. You're on your way. Keep going.
When do I know I'm Spider-Man?
You won't. That's all it is, Miles. A leap of faith.
What's up, danger?
I think if you're a Spider-Man fan, you should definitely see it. And if you're not, you should still also see it because it's a really good movie. And
solid.
Yeah, it absolutely deserves all the praise that it's gotten. And it's probably now my favorite Spider-Man movie.
It is probably the best Spider-Man. It's the best Spider-Man movie ever made.
I'm always leery of making distinctions like that because we don't get this movie without all the other ones. So it's like Spider-Man 2 is still kind of right up there.
Okay, I'll give you that.
But it's like neck and neck now with Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
But yeah, guys, it was fucking fantastic. It was a really great time at the movies.
Yeah, it was fucking great. I had a great time. I'm very happy Gavin dragged me into it.
Yeah, you're welcome, sir.
You saw it in IMAX?
No.
Okay.
We saw it. Did
we see 3D? Oh no, we saw it in the Dolby.
That's what it was.
Dolby Cinema.
Oh man, do we have some things to say about that? But that's another story.
We got a long 5-minute ad for Dolby sound.
Yeah, it was kind of amazing.
That's the theater review episode.
Yeah, it was the theater review. Yes, absolutely.
We have to do this now.
Yeah,
that's fine.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
We should do it.
But anyway, we're gonna go from one Marvel property to another, who has the actual name in the title. We're going to move on to Captain Marvel.
This war is just the beginning.
I'm not going to fight your war. I'm going to end it.
Captain Marvel, which premiered last week.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about this, but I saw this movie way more times than I had intended.
And should.
Probably should.
I saw it Thursday night because I'm a crazy person who likes to see the movie before the day it comes out. And then I saw it the next day with a friend of mine because she was my old roommate. I got her up to speed on all of the MCU movies. Like from like the day I moved in, we watched like a Marvel movie like every weekend.
Nice.
And I got her caught up all the way up until Black Panther, which we saw in theaters, and then we saw Avengers: Infinity War in theaters. So it was just kind of our thing, and so she wanted to go, so we went, saw it. Then
saw me.
I saw it with Jim.
Yeah.
Jesus, guys.
I saw it 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
And that was because Jim and I were out celebrating, and we'd called it a night. We'd parted ways. I'm literally on my way home. I'm on the fucking boat. I literally just get into the terminal over in Staten Island, and Jim's just like, "You should probably turn around." I'm like, what?
Why?
Because I gotta go see. I have a ticket to go see Captain Marvel, and I'm just like, shit. Are you fucking kidding me? Fine. Going to the Alamo. Let's go see this shit.
The Alamo, which is the greatest movie theater ever.
It's not.
Sponsor
But
Sure is. We love you.
Sponsor us.
But it's a good one. It's a good one.
Season 2, season of the sponsor.
Season 2 sponsor, the Alamo Draft House. Thank you very much for sponsoring us. This episode.
Anything.
Yeah.
Season 2, season of any sponsor.
Yeah.
Totally.
Please, for the love of God, sponsor us.
Yeah.
So the weird, really the fascinating thing about this movie was all of the nonsensical news and conspiracy that came out around the premiere of this movie, and just like, God.
Was there a lot of like nonsense that came?
There's a lot of like weird, I guess I can say right wing kind of like, oh, hey, fuck it because it's a woman.
Because it's a woman. But
Really?
also,
that
was a thing,
yeah.
but it was also partially because of Brie Larson's like comments that she made at some.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, but it got blown way out of proportion. Unfortunately, the message that she had, her heart was in the right place, but unfortunately, it's a case of, kind of putting your foot in your mouth a little bit.
I don't know. It wasn't that bad. It was not that bad.
So naturally, everybody took it the wrong way, and either way, it didn't matter because the movie fucking did great.
Yeah.
Opening weekend. I think it's like the 6th highest opening weekend like ever. Or some shit.
Yeah. Well, just to that point, like a reporter asked her a question, and she answered the question. That was just it. That was the end of it.
Well,
No.
Do you guys know what happened?
This is a different one. No, I'm going to tell you.
This is a different one.
No, this is a different one. This happened at. I don't know if this was a. Oh my God! I don't know if it was like some kind of an award ceremony or what have you.
That was a press junket.
It might have been.
I'm thinking of the old.
No, she was on a podium, dude.
Oh,
yeah. This was a full blown like
else.
speech that she was giving to an audience and to a camera, where basically she just said something. She was talking about reviewers.
So earlier this week, USC Annenberg's Inclusive Initiative released findings that 67% of the top critics reviewing the 100 highest grossing movies in 2017 were white males. Less than a quarter were white women, and less than 10% were unrepresented men. Only 2.5% of those top critics were women of color. So you're probably thinking right now, like, wow, that super doesn't represent the country that I live in, and that's because that's true. This is a huge disconnect from the US population breakdown of 30% white men, 30% white women, 20% men of color, and 20% women of color. On top of all of this, am I saying that I hate white dudes? No, I'm not. But what I am saying is that if you make a movie that is a love letter to women of color, there is an insanely low chance a woman of color will have the chance to see your movie and review your movie. Other people besides white dudes like Star Wars and would love the opportunity to do a set visit. And I'm also saying I don't hate white dudes. I'm just saying we need to be conscious of our bias and do our part to make sure that everyone is in the room.
Unfortunately, a lot of people took that the wrong way, where it's kind of just like, it's like, oh, Brie Larson says she doesn't want 40-year-old, she doesn't want white dudes seeing her movies. And it's kind of just like, guys,
that's way out left field.
It's
that's
like,
out there.
People took it to heart, and unfortunately, I mean, look, at the end of the day, it didn't do anything, but that was part of the controversy as far as like what was surrounding that movie.
Right.
Now, the movie itself, Jim and I saw it.
Jamie has not seen it.
I have not seen it.
Jamie has not seen it, and
I don't plan on it.
Yeah,
really?
I mean,
no.
All right.
I really don't want to see it.
So here's the thing. Because we have the embarrassment of riches in terms of comic book movies and especially Marvel movies, this movie kind of it doesn't really excel.
It falls really flat.
It falls kind of flat.
That's how I felt with the trailers.
It's kind of very generic. I'll go into why I thought it was, because the movie itself is competently made. There's also go for it, Jim. I know you want to say something.
Yeah. I'm like, okay. It's the first movie. It's one of the few movies that I've walked out of a theater and I've said, this was poorly directed.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the only complaint I had. I'm like,
Same.
this was poorly directed. This was really
in for who? For which actor?
No, none of the actors. The actors did their job.
I disagree. I think for Brie Larson.
Well, she's
really?
wooden.
She's really wooden. Yeah.
Really wooden actress.
I'm gonna get into that.
But pretty much it was like I walked in and it wasn't like it was poor. I shouldn't say poorly made. It wasn't. It just didn't excel. It was like if you're coming out of the world where Guardians exists. And Thor Ragnarok,
Black Panther, even fucking Wonder Woman. Like, no. I know what you're gonna say.
It's a hard movie to make.
It's a hard movie to make.
No, it's not. That's the problem. This movie should have been super easy to make.
Jamie, go.
It's an origin movie. Sure.
Yeah,
so
sure.
Yes, you're right. It's an easy movie to make.
Yeah.
But it's coming right off of what, Infinity War?
Yeah.
So this is not a movie necessarily to be an origin story. It's a movie to shoehorn a character into this.
Massive epic. Yeah.
And that's exactly what it felt like.
And that's the problem with
that was the problem.
The reason
that's why I don't want to watch it.
Well, here's the thing. The reason I don't agree with that is that we had Ant-Man.
So?
And Ant-Man came out and that was fantastic. It was wonderful. Right. It was small and it did a really good job.
But no one expected anything out of Ant-Man. Whereas Captain Marvel is supposed to be this like big holy shit moment for the Marvel MCU.
They kept touting it as, the most powerful like superhero that we've seen. Kind of
that's
thing.
my problem with the movie is that none of it leads to any sort of power. Like she never ever really feels empowered. And there's a whole scene where like spoilers. This is a new movie, so I'm definitely going to call spoilers for this. But when towards the end of the film, it's the climax and they're doing all the action and there's a climax. Oh, face. And
there's no reason for that.
There's no reason for that.
We are mature adults.
Yeah.
Grown men. Slightly grown men.
Adults. We're in our 30s.
What?
But she's
in our early 30s.
Deep into her early 30s. Approaching the middle so hard.
Do not get derailed.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway. No, but we're like it's after the climax. She's had her big battle, and you're like, "Oh, this is the best part of the film." This is supposed to be the best part of the film, and objectively, and she's falling towards Earth, and at that point, you're like, "Oh, okay." If you're a comic book nerd, everyone knows she can fucking fly. That's not a fucking surprise.
Nope.
That's for an audience that's not comic book nerds. But she's falling, and I think and this is actually from Mark Bernard, and he actually pointed out really well too.
Yeah, I read that. I heard that. I watched his review.
But she's falling towards Earth, and it's this moment where she closes her eyes and she like sinks into herself, and she finds the will to fly, and she's the power to fly.
Right.
And it happens, and even when I was watching it before I watched Mark Bernard bit, I was like, this doesn't. I know that's supposed to mean something, but it definitely
the moment doesn't land.
It doesn't land. It's in the middle of a bunch of like
maybe it's
random action. It's not the editing of it. The editing of the film is actually really well done. It's it fits in that Marvel world. Mm-hmm. The reason I say it was the directing is because their whole kind of like mantra was, oh, it's like the 90s action movies.
Right.
And when you watch it, especially when you watch the scene where they do the
you talk about the train?
The train scene.
Yeah. That's when it does feel like a kind of a 90s action movie.
It feels like a generic 90s action movie. It feels like the car chase from Lethal Weapon 3.
Well, maybe that's...
Or 4.
I mean, I don't know anything about
4.
this movie. I didn't watch it. What I know is I saw 2 trailers for it. I felt it looked really uninspired. and I was like, I don't want to fucking watch this.
That's the word, uninspired.
Uninspired.
The
No,
whole
it's
thing
true.
is uninspired. Yeah.
It felt like this was Marvel making a movie because it has to make a movie.
Yes. And I want to speak to
Yeah.
Jamie, your point as far as Brie Larson is concerned, and also to Jim's point where it's poor directing, because right off the bat, whenever you watch an origin story movie, the whole point of that is to build the character. It means that from where they start, they're at a lower point than where they end up at the finale of the movie. And in this movie, the character of Carol Danvers doesn't really showcase any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Right from the top, she's kind of stoic, a little snarky, but she's still she's not really at any kind of disadvantage. She's still super powerful. She's not displaying her full power, but she's totally capable of it.
So there's no real stakes in the
There's
movie.
no real stakes involved. And the reason I bring up the poor directing aspect of it is because it felt like the movie as a whole, and as well as her character, were played very safe. So it's like they didn't allow her. There's so much charisma there on the screen when Brie Larson and Samuel L. Jackson are together. Like you could see it. You could absolutely see it.
Yeah, they're having fun or whatever.
But they're not having as much fun as they could have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's definitely broken up by like, hey, we're gonna shoehorn in a moment with so I'm sorry. But we're gonna shoe in a moment of, oh, here is this reason why he has a scar. And here is this kind of callback to some other moment in the MCU.
It was a lot of connect the MCU dots. Happening in there too.
Like way too much.
Yeah. That's the kind of the point of the movie, right? It's like it's supposed to be a connecting tissue between Infinity War and Endgame.
But when you have a better,
no, it's not, because this takes place. Well, that's the thing. It had to connect the dots between
nothing. There's nothing
between nothing.
Yeah. Like there's the eventual Black Widow movie.
Everything before Iron Man,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
Or even Captain America, the First Avenger. Like that's where it has
That's
to.
what I was going to say. That's the problem. When you have a movie like Captain America, First Avenger, which is completely out of time and does such a really good job of explaining a character, showing you a character, and people like talk shit in that movie for a while until most recently.
I love that movie.
I loved it too.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were like, oh man, this movie's kind of like a little weak and a little weird. And then years later, everyone's like, it's great.
Yeah.
When you have that as your kind of backbone of out of time origin stories, this shouldn't be weak at all.
No, it shouldn't. But and again, this is a change that they made. I think it was a smart move. It just doesn't really pay off in terms of the origin story, where it's like we're kind of telling it backwards. Because it's all happening through a series of flashbacks.
Yeah,
it's not that straight A to B. A timeline as far as like her discovering who she is or whatever.
Right.
She already lived a life, and we're picking up when she has amnesia.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the problem with the movie, that they didn't play into her need to. She never felt like she needed to explore herself.
Correct. Right.
That's really the problem. And like the middle of the movie is very, very weird in that it turns into like a 90s. I'm only referencing the 90s because that's what they kept referencing, but it feels like that moment, it feels like in a 90s movie, like Lethal Weapon, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 3 scenes worth of like self-reflection.
Yeah.
And then it goes back to an action beat and then you move forward.
Right.
That's like an hour of the movie.
Yeah.
It's just like self-reflection beats that kind of really don't really go anywhere.
Like watching the trailer and knowing it's a 90s film, I was really hoping that they were going to go with like Top Gun as the influence.
Which is what it should have been.
Which is what it should have been.
It feels like it's what it should. I don't know.
That's the other. Yeah. That's the other reason that her revelation of being able to fly doesn't really pay off, because at no point
is she not flying.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, granted, yes, there is that aspect where all these male figures in her life are constantly telling her throughout her life that she can't do it. She's going too fast. You'll never fly. They'll never let you fly. All this shit is happening, but she still does all these things.
It's shoehorned in. All those male moments of like, fuck you can't do this because you're a woman.
It all just doesn't feel earned. None
really
of it.
Shoehorned.
Yeah.
Because you don't spend any time with her as a person in those moments.
Right.
I did enjoy it.
I did
to
too.
some extent.
Yeah.
I mean, like it was an enjoyable movie. it wasn't the best Marvel movie.
It's not a bad movie. It's just
Marvel movie.
It's just they made it better. It's the same problem with Pixar.
It just falls flat.
Yeah. It's definitely under Ant-Man. Let's put it that way.
Totally.
Oh, shit.
And I like Ant-Man.
Well, I love Ant-Man.
I love Ant-Man too. But like, if you look at the list of the 20 some odd Marvel movies that there are, it falls just like it's like in the middle. It's in the middle. It's right above Hulk.
Yeah. I feel like we're going to reach that. Then we're going back into that phase of Marvel movies, to be honest.
It's above Thor 2.
Remember when...
you know what? I'm sorry. I was an asshole.
It's definitely not Incredible Hulk.
It's not Incredible Hulk bad. It's above Thor 2.
You guys remember when Spider-Man, the Sam Raimi's version of Spider-Man came out?
Yeah.
And then everyone got really excited about superhero movies for a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And...
I got super excited.
Yeah, I mean, everyone did.
Yeah.
And like they just started dropping Marvel origin movies left and right. I feel like we're going to go back into that phase.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's only a matter of time.
Once Endgame comes out.
Absolutely.
Because there's this like dude,
it's the fatigue.
There's a fatigue. There's a monopoly towards the industry, and like you don't have to make really good movies anymore for people to watch it.
Yeah,
when it comes to comic book movies,
they've proven themselves.
They've established themselves as making excellent movies.
Yeah.
I don't know dick about Captain Marvel. I don't know anything about her movie. But it sounds like, and from everything I've read and from hearing you guys talk about it, it feels like that's the thing. Yeah. Like it's like we're going to the downslope of these superhero films.
Yeah. I really wanted to love this movie, and I'm only going to bring this up because of the comparison of just empowering. I don't even want to say empowerable. No. I'm not empowering female characters. Sure. But I tend not to think of it in those terms. I tend to think of it as the hero's journey and what I get out of it by the end of the movie. For Wonder Woman, regardless of how anybody feels about it, I know the third act kind of falls apart, but her character, I got that sense of hope.
Yeah.
That want.
She builds.
She builds, right.
It's the first good, like their universe. Yeah. It's their first good film.
Absolutely, yeah.
In that whole universe.
And that's
Wonder Woman's great.
And that's my biggest takeaway from this movie, where it's kind of just like, fuck, man. Like, I'm rooting for Carol Danvers only because I know who Carol Danvers, the character, is. What she's capable of. But
because you're invested in the comic book.
Because I'm invested in the comic book. But at no point in the movie do I ever feel like she inspires hope in me. And that's what did it for me, where I was kind of just like, yeah, this movie is not great.
It's a bummer that if we're going into like the new phase of Marvel films, if she's supposed to be the Captain America of that new generation, it just doesn't. It didn't land.
Yeah,
and at least right now. I mean, I know
totally.
I know Endgame's coming out, and then I'm sure the Russos are going to blow it out the box. But
and that's the other thing. That's why. And I'm not here. I'm not being an apologist here, but I think that's also part of the reason she couldn't be as great as she could be, because this movie is taking place like 30 years before Infinity War. So it's just like, in all of this span of time, now once she shows up in Endgame, she is going to be at the height of her powers, at the height of her confidence. Yeah. And it's just like, she's going to be a total badass.
Even in that teaser.
It's just a bummer that we don't get to see any of that really play out.
Right.
I mean, and that's the thing. That's the unfortunate part. It's the first movie.
Well,
if this was her second movie, we don't know that.
But we don't know that. Like Captain Marvel 2 could still be a flashback.
Sure.
You have no idea.
No,
that's true.
But that being said, you're absolutely right. Right now, it's one of those things where it's like, I just watching the Endgame trailer that came out a couple of days ago.
Came out yesterday.
Isn't
that crazy?
God, it feels like a couple of days
ago. It does feel like a couple of days ago.
She feels very shoehorned. And even down to the fucking poster. It's like you look at the poster, it's everyone's there's a...
She's in the poster?
She's in the poster.
She's in the poster?
And she's super bright on it. So it's one of those things where everything kind of feels like she's wedged in.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I hope it works out. I really do. I'm a fan of Brie Larson, but like,
I am too.
Oh, wow.
I am too. That's the other thing. That's why it drives me nuts that in terms of directing, it's just like, can you guys give her something to work with?
Yeah.
It almost felt like they were just one takes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be really honest with you guys. That poster is the background of my computer. And I didn't even notice she was in it.
Yeah, it's the background of my computer.
I had no idea.
And my phone.
Mine is the regular show.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, guys.
Let's move on.
Overall, I enjoyed Captain Marvel. I think you should see. I think people should see it. If you don't want to see it in theaters, that's totally fine. But I thought it was decent enough.
Yeah, it's a hard Netflix film for me.
It's a hard.
Netflix film. Nice.
Speaking of that,
not Netflix though. It's gonna be on Disney Plus.
It's gonna be Disney Plus.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
but
why not? Speaking of Netflix, that's gonna cycle into our next topic, which is all of the Marvel, all the Marvel Netflix shows are now completely done.
Yep.
It was Defender. Well, Defenders never got canceled. It just never got picked up again.
Not picked up again. Then it was Luke Cage.
No, it was Iron Fist and Luke Cage at the same time.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
And or around the same time, like within a very short amount of time. And then Daredevil, and everyone was shocked as fuck because
that one more than anything.
Yeah, the third season was amazing, and
he was the MVP.
I mean, Jesus Christ!
Of all those shows.
Are you kidding me?
Oh my god!
Like,
so
I could watch that guy be awkward and lay out lines for days.
Oh yeah!
Holy shit!
Chopping off heads with doors.
Yeah, just
with doors
all the time. He's excellent.
Yeah,
he's terrifying, and I don't understand why he's not in more things. Like I really don't.
Charlie Cax.
Yeah,
Charlie Cax. But and then they did such a good job of building Bullseye in the third season.
Yeah, Bullseye. Exactly. He's such a that's the most layered I've ever felt.
Yeah.
And I love Bulls. I love side note, personal thing. I love Daredevil.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that, by the way.
What's that?
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah.
You like that movie too? The early 2000s?
I love it. I do. I really do.
It's not bad.
It's not bad. I think it's campy, but it's so a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I love the series.
The park scene's weird.
Yeah. The park scene's terrific. How dare you?
It's terrible. How dare you balance on a fucking
it's super weird
seesaw. I hate it. That scene. I like the movie.
I love the comic books. I love what they did with him, like back in the day with all the cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of my favorite, like New York superheroes.
Yeah.
So, like when this show dropped and they had like such a grounded feel for it, I'm like, this makes perfect sense because that's the whole point of Murdoch. He's like this guy that keeps getting knocked down, he keeps getting back up, blah blah blah. So. When
he was Batman, attorney at law.
He's Batman.
Batman, attorney at law.
He is. He totally is. And like the third season's so good that like when they canceled it, you're just like, well, this is coming out somewhere.
Yeah, it's gonna be. They're most likely gonna move it to Hulu, is what I've been hearing.
Yeah,
I've been hearing that.
They're all gonna get shifted over to Hulu for.
The Netflix TV guy, whoever runs the fucking Marvel part, he did an open letter saying that they're not done with the shows.
No, yeah, I hope not.
Yeah.
So the assumption is that everything's going on Hulu.
Yeah, I mean, dude, even Iron Fist. First season, I'm sorry, I have no problem saying this. It was not good.
We shouldn't talk about it.
No, that's okay. But
we should talk about it.
We can.
Let's go. Let's shit on Iron Fist.
Yeah,
it's not that I want to shit on Iron Fist because the first season, unfortunately, was a giant disappointment, and the reason I mentioned that is because the second season was way better.
It's really good.
It's good.
Was way better, and it's because it didn't really. No. Well, I was going to say because it dealt with all the peripheral characters and not so much the Iron Fist.
Yeah,
like that's essentially what it was. Danny Rand for me just is not he's not a compelling protagonist.
That's the main problem.
That is the main problem.
And he's Batman without like the.
He's Batman in Tibet.
He's
Kung Fu. Yeah,
he's Kung Fu Batman.
Tibetan Batman.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the problem with it. Iron Fist isn't really. He's not a main protagonist.
No, that should have been.
But he could be.
It should have been Heroes for Hire.
No, yeah. It should have been Heroes for Hire, right?
Yeah.
It should be him and Luke Cage.
Yeah.
Fucking rocking it out. And
the entire time.
With Jessica. I don't feel like, to be honest, I don't feel like Jessica Jones, any of those three other characters, with the exception of Daredevil, and that's a biased thing for me to say.
Sure.
I don't think any of them are main. They don't deserve their own shows.
No, I mean even in the comics, Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are like a couple.
Yeah,
and that's why it works.
That's why it works.
Yeah,
and Iron Fist and Luke Cage team up often. That's why that works. But that's the other thing. Anytime Danny Rand was on an episode of Luke Cage, or anytime Luke Cage was in an episode of Iron Fist,
it's great.
It was great.
Yeah, that's the other part. He's great in team up. Stuff, and that's what's so cool about him. You don't need. I don't want to know about the guy. I just want to see him do kung fu.
Yeah,
you know. I want to see a white Bruce Lee.
You just want to see Kung Fu. The Legend continues.
Yeah,
that's all you want to see.
That's all I want.
We'll see a third version of Kung Fu.
Yeah,
with what's his name?
Fucking David Carradine.
David Carradine.
David Carradine.
You want to see Kung Fu with David Carradine?
Yeah, damn right I do.
Like series 3.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's dead now because
of
autoerotic asphyxiation.
Or he was murdered.
Yeah, he was
murdered. Murder.
He was murdered by his sexual tendencies.
Or some kind of mob. I don't know.
No.
Moving on.
Some sort of mob situation.
So it's kind of a bummer that the Netflix Marvel shows are all gone now, but it obviously seems like it's only temporary.
Yeah.
So we shall see.
I will say that like with the what's the word I'm looking for? The congestion of superhero stuff.
Right.
In TV and movies.
Hopefully they'll course correct a bit.
Yeah. Like we're starting to get a lot of the indie stuff that's really fucking weird and really fantastic. Like
Umbrella Academy?
What's the Umbrella Academy?
I hear that's fucking great.
Amazing.
But the Umbrella Academy, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that this is a response to Netflix kind of like losing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
but,
okay.
it came out so fast that I don't believe that's true.
Yeah.
Hulu's coming out with something that kind of makes fun of the Defenders.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like they're coming out with 4 animation shows that makes fun of. It's called The Offenders.
Oh wow! That's Hulu though. That's Disney.
It's Hulu. It's Disney, but that's the thing. That's what's so cool about it is like it's so popular and there's so much of it that people are kind of coming out with whatever the fuck they feel like right now.
Yeah,
and like,
which is good.
These things are just kind of passing through. Because it's so popular.
Yeah, it is. Even Amazon's jumping on that bandwagon of like getting shows that kind of shit on superheroes because they have The Boys.
Yeah.
And The Boys I don't know if you guys are familiar with The Boys.
Oh, The Boys is great.
I am not.
The Boys is about, they're all humans, right?
Yeah.
And they regulate the superheroes. And all superheroes have like random fucked up issues. And they have to go deal with the superheroes when they get out of line.
Nice.
And
dude, it's great. You have to read it.
It's really good.
It's great.
That's Netflix. I mean, not Netflix. That's
Amazon.
So they're doing that.
That's good, man. Hulu still has. Do they still have Cloak and Dagger? Is that still?
No, that was Freeform.
Yeah.
Oh, Freeform.
Yeah, that's Hulu has Runaways.
Runaways. That's the other one. Okay.
The show that should end.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them.
It's terrible.
I'm just waiting for someone to be like, "Hey, can we make Spawn already?" I just want.
They're remaking Spawn.
That's happening.
Tim McFarlane is actually directing
He's making a movie.
He's making a movie.
Animation. I want like Spawn.
No,
animation.
dude, we got one animation already. It's on HBO. You can go find it. It's great.
I don't want to watch the 90s stuff.
It's so good.
Yeah, but it's so good.
good.
I want a remake.
Don't remake it. Just make more.
It's like Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones. Just blood and sex.
It's really fucking good.
So that was the decline of Marvel on Netflix, and now we're going to talk about the resurgence of Mr. James Gunn.
You could not live with your own failure. Where did that bring you? Back to me.
Coming back into the fold of Marvel, he's back to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah.
How do we feel about this?
I'm stoked.
Hold on. Yes. Well, hold on. How do we feel about him being fired in the first place?
Okay, look.
I think everyone heard the first season.
Yeah, the first season.
Oh, yeah, we did
episode
touch
1.
about that. Yeah.
Yeah, first season, episode 1. I go on a little rant about it.
Yeah.
And
but those episodes are rough. So
yeah, they're pretty.
All rough.
I don't know if anybody actually listened to them.
They're all a little rough. No, I'm really happy that they kind of came back around. We were talking today on the chat that we don't speak of, and I was basically like, oh man, Suicide Squad 2 is screwed. And then, you told me that he's actually doing both.
He's doing both.
That's incredible. I'm really stoked for both now.
He still gets to do Suicide Squad 2, and then he gets to just jump back to Marvel and finish Guardians.
I'm really stoked.
He does DC's version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. He does Green Lantern.
Not in space. Yeah, right. He's the one who introduces Green Lantern into the whole fold. That'd be fucking hilarious.
Look, I'm just stoked to have another soundtrack to listen to while I ride my bike.
Absolutely.
So
soundtracks are great. The Guardians will be making their comeback, we assume.
Yeah, I mean, they have to.
In next month, actually. Can you believe it's a month away, Avengers Endgame?
You know your teams, you know your missions. No mistakes. No do-overs. Look out for each other. This is the fight of our lives. He's pretty good at that, right?
I really enjoy the fact that they are keeping everything so close to the vest in terms of like any footage that they're showing anyone. And at this point, Marvel's built up enough goodwill, and everyone was blown away by Infinity War that we've joked about this, where the trailer could have literally just been the logo, and people would have lost their shit anyway.
Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh my god, it's Endgame!"
There isn't anybody who's not going to go see this movie.
Yeah. All right, I'm calling this right now. I've been saying this for months.
Oh, here we go.
All right,
conspiracy theory.
Yeah, my tinfoil hat, very large hat, very large head. I don't think it's gonna be called Endgame. I think when the movie starts, it's gonna be Avengers and then Secret War. Or something along those lines, because it's like
there's credence to this theory.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna tell you why, but go for it.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna fucking tell you why.
Oh wait, here we go.
Oh yeah. No, I think that so all the marketing material, it says Endgame, all the generic stuff, but the toys where the money's made, do not say Endgame. It just says Avengers.
Oh,
yes,
yeah. All the packaging for the toys just says Avengers. And that's it.
I have some news about that too, but go on.
Don't you dare bust my
bubble.
No.
It works. No, it doesn't ruin it for me. It
Makes
works,
it better?
It works for your theory. It still works for your theory. Go on.
Yeah, because after the first trailer dropped, the teaser trailer, I immediately said it. Like, this is not the name of the movie. This is too silly.
It's too, like, Endgame is not.
It's generic, dude.
It's ridiculous.
And they can try to plug all those references that they want from past movies. Because Tony
Ultron.
says it. He says it in Ultron. And even Doctor Strange says it in Infinity War.
Yeah.
But
no, I think it's going to be like Secret Wars or Infinity Gauntlet or whatever. You know, it's going to be something. Infinity Wars plurals. Extra plurals. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. That's the end of my theory.
No.
So do you think they came up with Endgame as like a
placeholder
to talk about?
It's a placeholder.
Yeah.
Because it was so unoriginal. That way people could think about it.
Well, I have one little bit of like kind of one bit more of credence to this. So when they were doing the original naming, when they were announcing all the films, their original one for Civil War was Serpent Society, and so when they announced the films, it was Captain America 3, Serpent Society, and then they announced it's fucking Civil War.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think like, I don't think the Russos are beyond doing a switcheroo at the end. So.
That's fair.
Yeah. And that's the thing, because the whole thing, as far as where this theory started coming from, is the fact that the Russos and Kevin Feige were were very adamant about not wanting to reveal the title of the Avengers 4 movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, their words, they were just kind of like, we don't want to spoil it for anybody.
It's not Endgame.
And what's that?
Yeah, they were like, it's not Endgame, pretty much.
Right. More or less, right.
Is that what they said?
No, they didn't use that name. They didn't use that title at all. But they were just, basically, it was one of those things where, I mean, comic book nerds are going to be like, which story that we know is this going to be called? Because Infinity War is a legit comic storyline that happened. So is Age of Ultron. So for it to be called anything else other than like Secret Wars or
Infinity Gauntlet,
or
that's the next one after
Gauntlet,
Infinity
right?
War,
There's that one. You could do Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of other things that you could throw in there as being an actual comic book title.
Yeah.
And the fact that they came up with Endgame, it just seemed like it wasn't super sincere. But anyway, so when you were talking about the marketing and the merchandising, the so-called quote unquote leaked images of the toys that came out that just say Avengers on them, is also a ploy. That was manufactured.
Oh,
the leaks of those toys just having the Avengers without the Endgame name in there.
Yeah.
So I actually still think that adds more validity to your theory. Where it's just like, we're trying to make sure nobody figures this out.
Give it to me.
I mean, I want to say, I would really like it to be Secret Wars. But anyway, so that movie's, that's coming. That's coming, man. Next month. That's like 20, that's number 23. Is that what that is?
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the 23rd Marvel movie, and it'll end off on a high note. I assume the tone of the trailers make it very somber. Honestly, I have no, yeah, but no, well, I honestly, what I was gonna say is that I honestly have no idea what to even expect out of this movie, and I think that's how they want it.
I think Cap's gonna die.
I think one of them has to die.
Yeah,
If it's not Cap, it's gotta be Tony. It's gotta be one of them.
Cap's sticking around.
No,
it's about time travel.
Yeah, that's totally gonna be the thing.
Well, the Russos were even saying that the suits were bullshit.
They're showing flashbacks.
Yeah, they totally are. There was.
I'm not trying to ruin it.
You're right. You're totally right. We're all sad here because we're like, fuck, we figured it out.
Yeah.
Dude, there were so many articles
the quantum suits.
There were yes, they are. There were so many articles that came out after that trailer dropped that related to just the hair.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like, people are so meticulously analyzing these goddamn trailers.
Yeah.
That there are full blown theories just based around the hair in the trailers.
I have a story.
Chris Evans' hair, right?
No, it wasn't Chris Evans. It was Scarlet Witch's hair.
Scarlet Witch's. Black Widow's.
Black Widow, sorry. Black Widow's hair. In the first trailer is ScarJo's / Black Widow's hair is so obviously CG'd in those shots that I'm surprised that nobody's made any kind of mention of it.
Jamie,
like,
do you remember this? Do you remember this thread?
No, I sent pictures.
It went on for like a good hour.
This is like the rest of the day.
Yeah, I sent multiple pictures, screenshots.
Yeah. Jim had it.
Jim was at work instead of doing work.
Yeah.
Look,
overanalyzing this fucking trailer and Scarlett Johansson's hair.
Game for Jim.
I will not say that was good,
but
that was really good. That was really good. No, I hate you.
I hate love
accurate. No, I'm not going to say that I was not busy at work.
You just weren't doing it.
I was doing it. For anyone who hears this, I was doing my fucking work.
I was doing my job. People that pay me.
Yeah. Everyone who pays me still pay me because I do my work. But I also do analyze trailers while doing that work.
Yeah.
No, but they in the initial teaser trailer, there was the last shot where they show Scarlet Witch. Scarlet, I keep saying that. Black Widow talking to Steve Rogers about Ant-Man being at the door. That is a really obviously CG.
Her hair is super short and it's CG as fuck.
Yeah, it's CG as fuck. And then the same thing goes for earlier in they're doing a moment where he's like, I gotta, if it doesn't work, something along those lines.
Yeah.
It has to work.
She's like, this is gonna work.
Yeah.
He's like, I know it will. Otherwise, I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't.
Yeah, and that is also CG as well. It's weird. It's really weird. I don't know why they would do that.
Did they CG remove his beard?
Stuff, man.
Look, man.
Did they CG remove his beard?
They've done it before.
DC has done it.
No, well, yeah,
poorly.
That didn't work out well. No, they did it for the end of Avengers.
Yeah.
That teaser shot.
When they were all like, the whole team was running into battle. That shot doesn't exist in the movie.
No, actually, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the first Avengers where they're doing the shawarma shot.
Covering
his face.
I got you.
Yeah,
that's right.
They shot that like a week before the premiere, right?
Yeah.
And they were doing. He was doing Snowpiercer.
Snowpiercer. Yeah, that was total. That's why his hand is covering his face.
Yeah,
that's fucking hilarious. But you know, and then people are talking about like ScarJo's hair because like you could see the roots of her red hair coming out. Like I can't believe the amount of time people spend analyzing this shit to death.
Okay, number one, don't judge those people. Someone's in the room.
Everyone except Jim.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh God. But yeah, guys. I don't know about you, but I am super stoked. I'm
excited.
I think after this,
I'm done.
Most people are going to be done with the MCU for a while.
Yeah.
I it's weird because I almost feel like I wish they would take a break. I really wish they would, but Spider-Man Far From Home is coming on right after that.
Yeah. There's too much money in this.
Of course, you know, but then it's going to be that Star Wars effect.
Yeah.
No, it's not, because they don't have a really shitty movie. Okay, so you brought it up.
All right,
you opened the door. I'm going to walk through it.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All I'm going to say is episode 8 still a shit.
We're talking about Han Solo.
It's a bad movie. No, I'm not. I'm talking about episode 8.
Story.
That's a good movie. That's a fine movie.
It's not a good movie.
It's really fine, mediocre. It's the equivalent of Captain Marvel.
No one wants to know. I'm sorry.
Done.
Hold on a second.
Jamie's gonna go.
No one wants to know about the fucking Kessel Run. No one.
No one does.
No
No,
one
I
wants to know about
did.
it.
If it was good.
No one wants to know
it's
how
bad.
Han Solo got his name because we all just assumed it was his name.
Yeah, no one
First
ever
of all-
expected that. That's
all right,
fucked
no.
up.
Now this is turning into a fuck you Han Solo movie.
No, it's not. That movie's perfectly fucking fine. It's totally fine.
It's an awful
It's not
movie.
great.
How
It's
dare
not
you?
fine.
It's a terrible movie.
It's not
Everything's
good.
shoehorned. First of all, Gavin's right. No one wants to know how Han Solo's movie, his name fucking came out. I feel like Chewbacca and him aren't actually friends anymore.
That was cool. That scene was fine. That scene was perfectly
And
fine.
more importantly, no one wants to know how he did the Kessel Run in less than 12 parsecs.
Yeah.
Nobody. No one. What the fuck is
Look,
the Kessel Run?
And if they
I don't want to know what the Kessel Run is.
I don't. And if we do know, we
It's
don't
the
need to.
most-
We don't need to
All right.
know that he took a shortcut because he essentially cheated.
Yeah, he cheated the Kessel Run.
If you're a success, is it a cheat?
Yes!
Are the Patriots giving back any awards? Or any of the Super Bowls?
That's
Yeah,
a poor
right.
example.
That's
How dare
right.
you.
That's right. I went there.
This is where I
That's right.
fade
I
into
went
the
there.
background because we're talking about sports things now.
Yeah.
No, I said awards instead of Super Bowl, so I mean, I'm not really up on.
Did the Patriots give back?
But I knew the reference.
Fucking Jim.
I knew the reference.
Yeah.
I succeeded.
Um,
The movie's fine.
No, it's not. It's garbage.
It's totally fine.
you want
fucking high
You want to know what's
It's
not? You want to know what's not fine about
perfectly
that movie?
mediocre.
Last Jedi is better.
Oh
There, I said
no!
it.
Why would you do that? Jim's rolling up his sleeves now. Oh shit!
All right.
He's taking the filter off.
Oh
Are
yeah.
you gonna sing something to me?
No. Yeah, I'm gonna sing my.
God help us! Oh my god! Let's not talk about the Patriots and the Stanley Cup. That thing.
You know shit about soccer.
No, is it the World Series? Is that what it was?
I think so. I think it's World Series.
No. I think it's the World Cup.
Yeah.
Episode 8 is still terrible.
Oh god.
No, it started.
No,
it's begun.
it's fine. I don't disagree. Look,
I hate Ryan Johnson.
what I do disagree with is
I think it's a damn fine film.
that
hate
one
you. I hate you so much.
that one fucking.
It ruins
scene.
40 years of movies.
Oh god.
No, it
40
doesn't.
years.
It really doesn't because this movie still exists.
Whatever.
All I'm gonna say is that we don't need to know that Chewbacca had a nickname. Like we don't need to know that that Han decided to name him Chewie.
Yeah.
I'm not. What's your name? Chewbacca. Well, I'm not gonna say that every time. You're gonna need a nickname.
It's Chewie now.
While he winks at the camera.
Yeah, like get the fuck out of here, man.
Ah,
we
fuck
know
that
his nickname
movie.
is Chewbacca because
All right.
it's like
Dude.
Jimothy. We call him Jim.
Fun fact.
right.
I'm gonna bring this back to Captain Marvel real
That's
quick.
right.
The cat who is named Goose in the movie,
Yeah.
in the comics, the cat's name is Chewie.
It's true.
Oh,
That's a
true.
nice little fun fact.
Yeah.
Bring it back, buddy.
Bringing it back. So
Bring it back.
now that we're wrapping up here on the Marvel stuff, we do want to give a big shout out to the man who got a really wonderful tribute at the top of Captain Marvel.
That was the best part.
The Marvel fanfare logo as it pops up. It's all Stan Lee. So it does it you know, so it's all like art first, then it just shows all of his cameos.
Yep.
As it's going through the logo, and it was really fucking sweet. I honestly, because I wasn't expecting it, I totally teared up a bit, and I got really sad because that man is definitely dead. And
Jesus.
Jeez. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm
Your
sorry.
tears mean nothing now.
Yeah, I know.
Just nothing.
Look, guys, I walk a fine line.
It's
okay?
just.
I walk
You
a
got
very
teared up.
fine
That's
line.
beautiful. And he's dead.
And
oh,
he's
okay.
dead.
All right. All right.
No. It's just it was a nice reminder.
You just jaywalked across your own emotions.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'm allowed because they're mine. They're mine emotions. My emotions, damn it. No. It was a really nice celebratory way to showcase Stan. And I think we'll get his last cameo in Endgame.
Yep.
Oh, that's
his
perfect.
very last one, which makes sense.
Yeah, I could cap off the entire MCU.
Yeah,
And
totally.
then we're done as adults.
Yep.
Until we have kids. It's
Until
over.
we have kids. Yeah. Right. Oh God. I mean, maybe you guys. I'm gonna go.
I'll see.
I will see all the movies.
I'll see Far From Home because Gyllenhaal. But yeah,
Gyllenhaal is fucking Mysterio.
Yeah, I'll see that.
It's great. Did you know?
No, I don't want to know.
He was supposed to replace Toby. I think I might have.
Oh, right, you're right. Yeah,
in Spider-Man 2, because he was doing Seabiscuit and got injured because those goddamn horses keep injuring superheroes.
Yep.
Christopher Reeve, R.I.P.
You're totally fucking
I know
right.
how to be somber.
Oh my god,
I don't.
He's doing Chris Reeves. Fuck, dude.
Shit, it's that time.
It's that
It's
time.
that time.
So guys, thank you so much for joining us for the launch of season 2. We are so thankful that you guys are still with us, and we'll be back in another week or so.
Yeah, so the idea is to do every 2 weeks. The production of the show has gotten a little bit bigger now that we're doing all these like clips and kind of trying to be as thorough as possible. So
as profesh as possible.
Pardon?
As profesh as possible.
As profesh as possible. Expect about every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Right. Unless life and work kicks in really hard and we,
Yeah.
then it might be a third week in there.
Yeah. But look, guys, this will be on iTunes. It'll also be on YouTube or on Instagram. You can find us on Instagram at Postcast Podcast. DM, send us some questions or suggestions about the show. Also on YouTube. And if you want to find either of us, you can find us on all of the platforms. Most of them, I guess. You can find us on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram at G_Baz, B-A-Z-Z. You can also find me at Twitter at Gavin_Basilar. And where can they find you guys?
I always forget.
It's at J Chalas.
Thank you.
On Instagram.
It's on Instagram, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, don't find me. Just message Gavin.
I guess I will be fielding all of these questions. So, just send them to me.
Yep. Or me. It's fine.
Or Jim.
Yeah.
At J Chalas.
I won't.
Or John. What's John's Instagram?
Oh, actually, yeah. In this episode, the inaugural podcast of season 2, John is absent, obviously. But he'll be back next week.
He's on field assignment.
He's on field, yes.
Yes!
He's in the field.
You got to do it. You finally got to do it.
He's on site. He's on location.
He's on assignment.
But you can find him at Norcross NY. I believe on Instagram.
Yep.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
Definitely message him. Don't message any of us.
Just him.
Just him.
He loves it when people message him.
He also loves it when you ask him about Marvel stuff.
Yeah, specifically superhero stuff.
Superhero.
He really hates it when you ask him about really like pretentious white people movies. Definitely don't message him about like Mother or
oh my
stuff
God.
like that. Anyway.
Oh, Jesus.
That's going to stay in so hard.
That's staying in. All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. We had a great time talking about
this is awesome.
all things Marvel. All right, so we'll be back in another week or two.
And I guess I'll do this for John. We did it.
We did it!
You did it!
We did it, man.
Next time on the Postcast.
We don't always get to do what we love, so we need to love what we do.
I never realized that was your secret.
Yep.
This has been a J3 Filmworks production.
Hi, I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have: patience. Sometimes patience is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?